critical thinking for today?
Okay, how to deal with bad news. See, if I'm going to be Dougie Downer, I got to teach them how to deal with bad news. So there are stages to dealing with bad news. Now, this could be losing a job. It could be you losing a loved one. This could be just an event at work or even in your personal life that just happens and it's not really good. And then what do you do to deal with it? Well, most people go through stages, and there's lots of psychological research showing stages of grief and so on. So we're just going to look at a couple of them, kind of lump them all together to take an overview. So let's look at this. The first thing you want to think of is you're going to be shocked, and you're going to be confused, and you're going to have a reaction. And that first reaction is probably not when you should start making decisions on what to do. On the other hand, in some cases, if it's urgent, such as you could do something right now about it, then yeah, you should immediately, do something.
Yeah, don't go to the bar and drink it away.
No, don't go to the bar and take action. But if you're still in shock and confused and don't really have a clear idea of the perfect action, hold off, because you'll probably start to feel different about it over time. So as time goes by, you'll see things like anger, resentment, what are some of the other ones? Depression, denial. All of these emotions will come over time, some in different orders and so on, and there's lots of psychological studies to show that they generally follow a pattern, but they might be different for you. But you'll have emotional reactions to really bad news, and I know I have. I'm not immune to this. I'm just bringing it up. So as those go through, eventually where we become really productive is at the acceptance. And then we can go back to moving forward. So as time goes by, we go through different stages, and it's important when you're making decisions and you're trying to think critically about what to do about things, you understand where your emotions are and where you are mentally, so you don't either overreact or underreact to the situation.
Can't we just skip that whole middle part? Can't we just shock, accept,
shock and
move
awe?
on?
Shock and awe? Yeah, well, we're human, so most people aren't going to. So we kind of have to accept the fact we're human, and we're going to be mad. I mean, if we lose our job, I mean, at first you're going to be shocked you lost your job. Maybe not today you'd be shocked. But most people in general would be shocked they lost their job. They'd be confused. Then they turn to anger, and they want to blame somebody, and then they want to make bargains and deals, and there's all kinds of things that we go through there. But while that's all going on, and that can be very emotional, I mean, hysterically emotional, that's not when you should be making decisions about what to move forward. But the sooner you can move along this timeline and get to a point where you can move forward and accept that here's where I am now, and I just have to deal with this and go on, the faster you will recover. It's like the economy. The faster we hit bottom in prices, the more we can have a recovery. If we dribble all the way down, like Japan has for 20 years, it's miserable, so, you kind of, a lot of times you have to hit bottom to move forward. So the faster you can hit bottom, or not bottom necessarily, but the faster you can get to acceptance in whatever the bad news is and move forward, the better off you'll be over the long run. So,
so when people just say, get over it, well, it's actually a helpful thing to say. Yeah. I mean, even though it sounds cold, I'm sure. It
doesn't feel good. So all of the emotions, all of these emotions here don't feel good at all. And when somebody says get over it, and you're not ready to get over it.
Don't you understand the pain I'm in?
Yeah, that's right. You need to feel my pain. So the thing is, for critical thinking, recognize that you're going to have emotional issues accompanying bad news, and then make your decision making accompanying that, or work with those emotional feelings, so you don't end up making rash decisions in anger, or giving up in depression, or making decisions as in denial. So there's all kinds of factors that are involved. So you have to think to yourself kind of, in a third person way. Yeah. How am I acting? How am I feeling?
I'm going through the depression now.
I'm going through the depression now. Okay, so what I shouldn't do is just give up. And so, it's always darkest before the dawn, all those other things. If they motivate you, that'd be great. So the point here is when you're critically thinking about bad news in your life, take the emotions into account and make decisions and take actions in accordance with how you're feeling without doing damage to the situation.
And the takeaway is?
So the takeaway is the faster you move through the process, the faster you can get going again. It won't feel very good, but you will be better off.